Three. Giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele. 3, 2, 1.
Here we go. We figured it out now. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by Boston Scientific. Streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. And of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. Boom! Figured it out why the music wasn't working. Now it's back. I know y'all missed the optimistic song, but it is returned. Also, what is returned is our hindsight series. We are going to be evaluating the cornerback position from last season. One of the more fun positions to evaluate because you had some gems, and we'll talk about a few of those that the Cowboys found, but you also have some questions that still need to be answered. For sure. A lot of questions that need to be answered from the top guys and from the bottom of the roster type of dudes. So we'll go ahead and review all of that and get into it, Cowboys Nation. Shout out to the Bomb Squad coming through. What's up, y'all?
Bomb Squad!
I see the phone lines are already popping. 351-999-3787. Yes, I am a little bit early because I want to try to get out of here a little bit early. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Should be a good show. I enjoyed the hindsight series. I hope you guys enjoyed the hindsight series as well. And I do know we didn't get a chance to get all the callers yesterday. So if you want to call in, you can do that to talk about yesterday's topic. But after some thought about the Catboy criteria shows, I don't even want to call them that, but the free agency primer shows. Here's what I'm going to do to switch it up, because the Catboy criteria can definitely be... it can be sad, right? So we'll do a Catboy criteria side, and we'll do a Wildcat and Jerry side, where, yes, we know this is likely what the Cowboys are going to do, but on the other side, we'll talk about what a Wildcat and Jerry move could look like. That can involve trades, that can involve free agency, draft, what have you. So we'll do both sides, and we'll balance it out so we can bring a little bit of fun to the show, because the Catboy criteria side can be very, very sad. So this is what we're going to do, all right? And I see Toxic Tom drop one in the super chat already, and you had to be at the show yesterday, Vosh and Barty.
Super chat.
Brumley, please remove KJ from the estate. We're going to talk about Kelvin Joseph, man. So just stick around for that. Toxic, I got you, brother. I got you. All right, phone lines are filling up. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We'll get into this roundup real quick because we do have Cowboys news. Like, something happened yesterday, Cowboys related and not Cowboys related, but we'll combine it. And coming out of that, we'll jump straight into the first part of our cornerback evaluation, and then I'll hit the phone lines, and then we'll end it with the second part of the cornerbacks. All right, pretty simple, pretty easy. Let's get it.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Hey, yo. Did y'all see Doug Nussmeier follow Kellen Moore to the Chargers? Thought that was interesting. They are literally the West Coast Cowboys. I'm not gonna lie. I think we'd all be lying if we said we weren't keeping a little bit of an eye out on what's going on over there, right? Like, what are they doing over there? What are they gonna add pieces, get rid of pieces? Just curious if they're gonna help out their quarterback or are they going to take away guys. I don't necessarily know if hiring Doug Nussmeier is helping out that quarterback, who is a fantastic one. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't think Nuss was really known here for his quarterback guru-ness, per se. But he's the Chargers issue now. So that's fine. Doug was the quarterback's coach in Dallas. That vacancy is technically still open. But they did hire Will, and let me know if I'm pronouncing this right, Harriger as an offensive assistant. Now, this is per Todd Archer. The Cowboys will have added Will Harriger as an offensive assistant after he spent last year as a senior offensive analyst at USC in 2022, where he helped coach Caleb Williams and he worked with offensive mind Lincoln Riley. He also has a pass with Dan Quinn and a pass with Brian Schottenheimer in both Seattle and Jacksonville. So what is his NFL ties? Well, in 2019 and 2020, he was an offensive assistant with Dan Quinn. Before that, between 2014 and 2018, he was an offensive assistant and a quarterback's coach for the Seahawks. In his time as a Seahawks quarterback's coach, Russell Wilson had two of his best years of his career. 2017, he led the league in touchdown passes. So I wonder if Will help with Dak Prescott as well, or they're still looking to add a quarterback's coach to work directly with Dak Prescott, because this sounds to me more like a guy that's going to help Shoddy and McCarthy. And here's something I want to give McCarthy some credit. McCarthy understood at the end of his tenure, he needed to figure some things out from an offensive standpoint in the newer version of the NFL, right? He has West Coast principles. His West Coast principles are solid, but you need to add more to it in this current version of NFL. So he brings in a Schottenheimer who has done some different things, had some success in Seattle. And now he's bringing in Will Harriger, who is coming from Lincoln Riley, straight from college, working with Caleb Williams. Also worked with Shoddy, so there's no issues there. They understand each other. And he's worked with a Russell Wilson, who's a mobile quarterback that can drop back, throw the ball as well. So I have to give a hat tip to Mike McCarthy for surrounding himself with guys that he can lean on, his guys, I should say, that he can lean on, as opposed to the other way around where it was, hey, I'm just here, Kellen. I'm just here, buddy. So let's see how this thing works out, how it shakes out. We still got some positions to fill. Jeff Nixon is let go or is a free agent, I believe. As a running backs coach, he was interviewed as an offensive coordinator candidate, the running backs coach from the Panthers. I wonder if Dallas brings him in to be the running backs coach for the Cowboys. I think that would be a great hire. But the quarterback's coach is the last position, I think, and running backs, the last two positions that rank in that higher up of importance that Dallas has to re-sign. So we'll see. We got to keep an eye out on that and what they'll do. Maybe Will Harriger will go from offense assistant to quarterback's coach, but I doubt it. I think he's here to assist Shoddy. I think he's here to assist McCarthy to put together the best possible offense for the Cowboys. So let's see how it works. Now, today's show will be about guys to help stop offenses and stop these quarterbacks. And the Cowboys had a bit of an up and down year in doing that. One day, we'll probably break down the entire defensive season. It felt like 2 or 3 different seasons. That first part of the year, unbelievable. You're talking about they were only giving up 1 touchdown a game, a gang of turnovers, a gang of sacks, tailed off a bit, hit a bad peak, and then picked back up in the playoffs. It's a tale of about 2 or 3 seasons for that Cowboys defense. You could kind of say the same thing for this cornerback position, where it never really was steady, whether it be due to play, whether it be due to injuries. But where it started to pick up was where some injuries started to happen, and the Cowboys uncovered a few gems. And one of those gems we'll talk about in the first part of this cornerback evaluation, hindsight 2022. But prior to getting to him, let's start at the bottom of the depth chart with C.J. Goodwin. Y'all know how I feel about C.J. Goodwin. I'm a C.J. Goodwin fan. I understand he's listed as a corner, but let's be real, he's not. So this is pretty cut and dry and simple here. He's a special teams ace. Okay? He's a reliable special teams ace. He's a reliable veteran special teams ace. And I'm always about bringing back C.J. Goodwin because he doesn't cost you anything. He's not going to harm you from signing anyone else because you're paying C.J. Goodwin pennies. So I believe he is a free agent. And yes, I would bring C.J. Goodwin back. Now, many of you would say, well, I think you have C.J. Goodwin's replacement already on the roster. You know how sad that is? If that's the case, but we'll get there. So cut and dry here, C.J. Goodwin, boom, pop, pow, bring him back. Nashawn Wright. I don't necessarily say this is an interesting case because the interesting cases come later. 3rd round pick. I don't like the label 3rd round picks bust or whatnot, but 3rd round pick who was inactive a lot over his first 2 seasons. Got a shot. His best game in Tennessee was a game where he was up and down, but had an interception, a fantastic interception. But that didn't even save Nashawn Wright for the remainder of the season. They went out and got other guys. They constantly look to give him competition and replace him once AB went down. Playoffs come around, he's not even playing. So you got to look at Nashawn Wright as a guy who, if we're being completely honest, is not a part of the future, but a guy who's going to have to compete once again in training camp to stay on the roster and maybe compete for that 4th or 5th spot, depending what happens with the Cowboys cornerback spot in free agency and in the draft. I'm not saying you're cutting Nashawn Wright, but I'm saying you don't pen him in as a guy for the future. You continue to bring in guys to push him so he can either get better in camp or they push him completely off the roster. Now, he got some tick. He put some good things on film. Obviously, as a young corner, he put some bad things on film. But I didn't see enough to be like, hey, man, this guy is it. This guy is it. No, sir. And then we get to one Kelvin Joseph. Now, I'm going to keep this on field. On field, to me, he just was not that good. I mean, we had a heated discussion throughout the season on Kelvin Joseph. And it came down to the staff agreeing he just wasn't that good. You'll hear me say this a few times. I get it. All these corners are going to get beat. But can you make plays as a young corner? Can you give me something to get excited about, to build on? The Kelvin Joseph fans out there, can you realistically say he gave you a ton to build on? I don't think so. I think and this sucks because he's a 2nd round pick. I think this is a situation where he's in the same boat as Nashawn Wright. You bring in competition and you hope that competition elevates Kelvin Joseph's play or it pushes Kelvin Joseph off the roster. Now you can say, well, Sky, he has some special teams ability. You're right. He does. He did some decent things on special teams. He did some boneheaded things on special teams. A lot of people are saying he's the C.J. Goodwin replacement. Again, C.J. Goodwin is a reliable special teams guy. He's not going to do the boneheaded things a lot. I can count on C.J. Goodwin to literally be there at practice and literally be there at the game and not do boneheaded things. We're still trying to figure out if Kelvin Joseph can do those things. He's still working to do that. So I put him in the same category as Wright. A guy I'm not counting on for the future. I'm going to bring in competition that pushes him or pushes him off the roster. It's kind of how I see it right now with Kelvin Joseph. I kind of want to get into this chat and see what y'all are saying about Wright and Joseph. And then we'll get to Izzy. By the way, this is just the first part of the corners, which are the back half of the roster. I agree here. Cautiously optimistic. I said this before. We should be done with this. Drafting these low character, the second part, whatever, but the low character guys. And when I say low character guys, I mean, I hate to do a Jason Garrettism, but I'm dead serious on this now. Do you love the game? Do you love the game of football? Because if you truly love the game, right, you won't jeopardize things off the field for the game. And I know you will put in that extra effort on the field for the game. I'm not trying to go back, but we heard all of these things in college, yet they chose to ignore it and go with the guy. So again, the Cowboys have been doing this time and time again, whether it be injuries, whether it be character concerns, whether it be suspensions, whatever. They constantly go after that. You heard Jerry. Jerry admitted the second round is the round that I like to take the risk. Be done with it. Be done with it. I think last year all the off-field issues played a big part in his production. Well, that's a problem then, because you can't guarantee that this dude is going to be clean off the field. You don't trust him. Professor O is passion is music. Football is a means to an end. If he loved both, I wouldn't care, but he doesn't. Rule says last chance for Kelvin. He's a bonehead. He's a bonehead, and his offseason ish caught up with him. I don't know if he's grown. I will say this, and I'm not trying to stir anything up, but the whole film crew thing and that still was going on even after. So let me just leave it at that. Tino, and we'll get to Israel in a second. Cautious said I'd keep Wright before I'd keep Joseph. Fair. Shaq said we might have to trade Boss Man. What you think you get for Boss Man? Sugar Daddy said he dropped a new video this week. Okay. I mean, it's the off season. I ain't gonna get mad at him for doing the off season things, but I'm gonna just be real. I don't trust him. A guy I do trust. A guy that came on to A to Z Sports. Shout out to Mo. I'm gonna try to get Israel on as well. Is Israel Mukuamu. I watched Israel Mukuamu maybe make the biggest jump of all the young cornerbacks on the team from the previous season. We watched him in camp and preseason go from a guy who was a tentative free safety to a physical safety in one offseason, a confident safety. And it seemed like every time he got the opportunity, he made himself felt. And here's what's interesting about Israel. Maybe the second most interesting player in the DB room. Put the asterisk there because he was a safety for majority of this season. And while Dallas was trying to figure out what the hell to do opposite of Trayvon Diggs once AB went down, they tried Kelvin Joseph. That was a wash. Nashawn Wright, that didn't work. Mullen, that didn't work. They brought in guys, Sheffield. They brought in who's the cat from Rhodes. They brought in all these guys. They tried all these guys and it didn't work. We went into the playoffs like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Dan says, that's it. We're going to try this Israel Mukuamu thing out. They put Izzy in the slot, and it was fantastic against Godwin, with the Bucks. Let me start off by saying what Izzy did was phenomenal in that game. And it wasn't half bad either in the following game. And I do have to add this though, because a lot of people want to keep Izzy in that slot. My worry is that we just ran into a matchup that worked. Right? Israel Kwan was 6'4", former cornerback boundary guy that was able to go inside in the slot because you were playing against big slots. Jawan Jennings of the world, the Godwins of the world. Those are big slots. What happens when he has to go up against traditional slot receivers? That is what would worry me because he's not built for that. And I personally want Israel Mukuamu to push Malik Hooker. I'm not out on Malik Hooker. I'm just saying I've really saw something there from a safety position. And maybe this is my safety bias, Cowboys Nation. But I think Izzy could have a future at free safety. So he's a fun player for Dan Quinn. You could do a lot of things. He's a wild card guy. You can move him around. Maybe he's the cover version of a Jaron Curse. But I'd be intrigued to see what he has at free safety full time to push a Malik Hooker. And if he doesn't push Malik Hooker off, hey, now we got a quality backup free who can do some cornerback things. So that's kind of where I'm at with Izzy. Fantastic season. I hope we get him back on so we can talk to you guys live, get some questions from you. I'm excited about his future. Y'all know me. I'm biased to the 6'4", 6'5" type of DBs. I think they can present some problems, especially if they're good. And he was Deshaun Wright. So I think Israel is one of those gems the Cowboys kind of, I want to say discovered, but kind of accidentally stumbled into because they weren't trying to put Israel Mukuamu at corner. They weren't even trying to put him on the field. It took injuries to get him on there. It took J-Ron to go down. It took a bunch of failures at cornerback for it to happen. So I think they stumbled into something good, and let's build on top of that with Israel Mukuamu. Let's get a couple callers in here. See what you guys are thinking about this cornerback position. The reserves, and then we'll get to the starters in a second. We got 3-2-1 on the horn. What's goody?
What's good, Sky? What's good, my brother, man?
What's up with you?
How was your Valentine's Day, my brother?
It was good, man.
Good. So I was just going to say, one thing I do love about Izzy Mukuamu is, like you said, when Jaron Curse did go down, Izzy stepped up. And it was like that last season when we played against the Chargers. Izzy also played a big role in that game, too. I don't know if people remember that game, but Izzy played in that game, and he played really well in that game. But as far as the overall cornerback position, I feel like we can improve. I feel like Anthony Brown should be someone we bring back just for depth. I would bring him back for depth because he doesn't cost much. He's not going to cost much coming off his, I think, Achilles tendon issue. I would bring him back for depth. And I would also bring in a veteran cornerback to going to also challenge for that other outside position. So
wait.
when you run the four,
oh, you mean challenge AB? If you were to bring AB back.
So that's the thing. I was actually going to say, I would actually rather move AB inside with the Ron Bland for when we go dime set. And I was going to bring in another cornerback to play on the outside opposite of Trayvon Diggs, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm going to have to push back on you. If I'm bringing back Anthony Brown, I'm not bringing him back to play slot if DeRon Bland's my slot. DeRon Bland showed you he's the best slot on this team. If you want to keep him in the slot. Now, we'll have that conversation here in a second. If you elect to keep DeRon Bland in the slot, there's no need to bring AB back to play in the slot because you got Jordan Lewis, who is still under contract. Again, we'll talk about that here in a second. So if you're bringing AB back, you're bringing him back to play on the boundary.
So that's what and maybe I didn't word it correctly. I'm not bringing AB to challenge DeRon Bland. DeRon Bland is my starter. What I'm saying is the AB would be a backup to the slot position.
Well, I would
have somebody plug in on the outside.
That would be J. Lou.
So, you know what? As much as I love Jay Lou, I do feel like Jay Lou he makes plays every once in a while, and I feel like his play can be more inconsistent at times than Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown may get burnt deep once a game, but then he's pretty much good most of the game, if that makes sense.
Brother, we just need to move on. We just need to move
think
on.
so?
It's been 7 years. You know, he's not been that good for most of those 7 years. At best he's been okay. He had one solid season. You're not going to hurt yourself moving on, I don't think. And this is a great segue because let's just go ahead and get into the AB thing. Appreciate the call, brother.
All right, brother.
Let's go ahead and get to. I mean, fantastic segue here. Let's go ahead and get to the AB thing because he's first up on the starters. Look, salute to AB. You know, he won, 6th round pick, not expected to do a whole lot. Stuck around for 7 seasons, had his best year in 2021, but clearly regressed last year. You're going to hear me say this a few times. You're going to get beat at corner. But can you make plays? He gave up 5 touchdowns this season and didn't record an interception. He wasn't active in the run game. He wasn't active tackling. Didn't get his hands on the football a lot. I just don't get bringing him back at all. At all. And I'm trying to do this because he's a guy that they like in that locker room. Like you said, he's not going to cost a lot. But I think you've discovered a couple young pups that you can roll with here. A couple young pups that can make some plays. And you also got the draft and you also got free agency. And if I'm going to bring it, he said, bring back AB and sign a veteran. Well, AB would be that veteran. He'd be the 8-year vet that has a bunch of starts under his belt. He would be that guy. But if we want to go into the cornerback market to bring in a veteran, because we want to keep DaRon Bland in the slot, which we'll get to in a second, sure. Go out and sign a veteran that's better than AB. But I just think this AB era should be over. Cowboys Nation, would you bring back Anthony Brown? I mean, he said for cheap, doesn't matter to me. Cheap, not cheap. Would you bring back Anthony Brown for the 2023 season? I think you got to let him go. I just think you got to let him go. Lawrence said, man, we ain't going through that shit again. You cannot defend the Eagles with the weak and mediocre coverage. Dalton says almost impossible to come back from the Achilles. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but I wonder when he'd be ready. Lawrence said, I'd rather give Joseph another chance than bring back Anthony Brown. I don't know about that, but I just know. But look, man, and this is why it's tough for me to say what I'm saying about him, because a 6th round pick. He wasn't expected to do the thing. He wasn't expected to stick around. He had a fantastic rookie season for a 6th round pick, and then he sprinkled in a really good season in 2021. It was very rocky in between that. He won. He absolutely won. He'll go somewhere else. He'll get paid, and hopefully he'll continue to have a successful football career. Because don't get twisted. He's had a successful career. Like, he hasn't been a Pro Bowler. He hasn't been good consistently. But when you stick around for 7 years, I don't give a damn if you're a terrible player. It's successful because you stuck around for 7 years. So salute to AB, but it's time to move on. Let these young pups grow into their role, man. See, Lee, I can't go. Lee said, I like the depth he would bring. Go get different depth. Now, I ain't do the free agent primer on the cornerbacks quite yet, so maybe we got to go look in there and see what's around there. But go get different depth, man. Go get another veteran cornerback that could be better than Anthony Brown. Even if you got to pay a little bit more than $3 million or whatever it was, I don't know what he's giving, $5 million. If it got to be $6-7 million to be primary outside guy with DaRon Bland in the slot, so be it. I'll pay for better all day and tomorrow. 469, what you got on that? You bringing back Anthony Brown?
No, I'm not bringing him back. I'm with you on the Israel Mukuamu. I think if we don't bring back Donovan Wilson, which I would hate to lose, he can fill in that role kind of that with that big nickel package that we like to run. You know, kind of that Swiss Army knife, can play corner, can play safety. Just depends on the matchups we want to use them.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Nashawn Wright. He kind of reminds me of he's like the Simi Fihoko of the cornerbacks. Just has size, but nothing really else to him. And Kelvin, I mean, yeah, he can be your special teams ace, but that's a lot of money you're going to pay for. You know, I don't think you invest a second-round pick for him to be your special teams ace. But I'm going to give you a hot take. I think I would trade Trayvon Diggs for a first-round pick this year.
Whoa.
I think we're going to overpay him.
Let's talk about it.
He's going to fall into that category with Zeke and Dak where he's not going to live up to his contract. And, that playoff game, he made some business decisions that cost us the game. And I want someone who's going to lay it all up on the line. And I think this cornerback draft class is stacked. I think you could find a cornerback to replace him. I like Bland. I really like Joey Porter Jr. and Cam Smith and Emmanuel Forbes or Devin Weatherspoon. I mean, it's stacked. And
it is stacked. About 6 or 7 first-round picks for corners possibly.
Yeah, and I just think you could stack. Because here's the thing. I'm building my team around Micah Parsons. I don't want to emulate the Eagles. I want to emulate the 2000 Baltimore Ravens or the 2013 Seattle Seahawks. I think that's the direction we got to go, simply because, and you know my take, I don't trust the quarterback. I'm not building around Dak. I'm not putting weapons around him. We've done that before. Those interceptions in the playoffs were not, I need more weapons interceptions. They were, I can't see the field. I'm not going through my progressions. Someone who's year 7 needs to figure that out.
So your answer to that is to not add more things to help the quarterback to take it away?
I mean, yesterday's segment, I would like Marvin Jones Jr. as an insurance, as a third receiver. We don't know with Tolbert. Maybe he could make the jump next year, but I would invest in the defense and the running game and offensive line. I think that's the direction.
Well, there you go. I mean, but that's helping. That's helping your quarterback. That's helping him. Investing in the offensive line. Getting better receivers. That's helping your quarterback. I mean, you listen. And I say this to people that don't like Dak Prescott. Okay, you don't like Dak Prescott, but the answer isn't to make the offense worse, right? The answer is to continue to put better players around him so that he can be assisted by them. For those who don't believe that he's that good or he can't get it done, whatever, don't you agree you want to put more people around him to help him?
I want a running game. I don't want to draft Jackson Smith and Jibbo with the first.
Well, whatever your solution is, right? Like whether it be running game, offensive line, receivers, weapons. Maybe we should stop using the term weapon because weapon does sound like receiver. Let's just say help.
Yeah. I think with that defense, and especially if we go defense first 2 rounds, you just need Dak to just play safe, just be a game manager. We need him to be the Trent Dilfer to the Baltimore Ravens that year they won the Super Bowl. Get a running yesterday, about the Eagles, I got bad news for Cowboys fans. They're going to let Miles Sanders walk, and they're going to draft Bijan Robinson with the 10th overall pick. And I hate to see it because I'm a Texas guy. I love Robinson, but I feel like that's the direction they're going to go, and the Eagles are going to run this division the next 2 years. They put themselves in good position with the draft picks and some of the free agent pickups they have, but that's just not our identity. I like to, stick with the identity, build through the draft, build around Micah Parsons, and let's ride. I appreciate the phone call, Steele.
All right, appreciate you. I want to have another discussion about the building around Micah Parsons thing, because y'all know how I feel about Micah, but I think this is building around Dan Quinn. For right now, If Dan Quinn goes, we'll see how they replace him. But I would continue to build around Dan Quinn. Micah's the centerpiece, but Dan Quinn is the puppeteer or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if everybody can use Micah the right way or use J-Ron the right way, use Dono and use these other guys, but Dan Quinn can. Dan Quinn. Yeah, I think I remember that caller. Yeah, listen, man, if you don't, think the quarterback is good enough, I don't think the answer is to take away or to not add. That's literally what they did last year. And it's why I came into the season saying I just don't see this team winning a Super Bowl as they're currently constructed, because they did not add to a successful season in the talented roster. They took it away and said these guys got to elevate their game and hope that James Washington and Dante Fowler are good enough as additions. And that didn't happen, So I think there's an agreement on both sides. People that are that support the quarterback, people that don't support the quarterback, where we all should agree is you better continue to support him from a personnel and coaching standpoint. And that's where I'll leave it at that. Let's get back to the corners. Jordan Lewis. J. Lou, he's just kind of been steady Eddie through his career with Dallas as a slot guy. I remember one time y'all was trying to call this man the ball guy, and I just had to laugh. I mean, how you the ball guy with 2 interceptions? And that's not the knock on J. Lou. I just was like, why y'all calling this man the ball guy? Then Diggs got here and got all these picks, and he's the true ball guy. But J. Lou was just starting to find his footing, no pun intended, in that 2022 season. He got his best game of his season against the Detroit Lions, got the interception, but unfortunately it was the same play that he would end up breaking his foot or getting a Liz Frank injury, and it ended his season. But here is where another question will have to be answered. He's got 1 year under contract. If he were to return, and AB would not, he would be the elder statesman in the room. If they elect to move on from him at any given point in the offseason, whether it be pre-June 1st, after June 1st, right now, doesn't matter. They'd save $4.7 million on the cap, and they take a $1.1 million cap hit in 2023 and none in 2024. I think it is a decision that they have to make, given that the Cowboys have a couple young guns underneath Jordan Lewis or above Jordan Lewis. And one of those dudes is DaRon Bland, who is the absolute most fascinating case in the entire defensive back room. Bland in his rookie season showed you just about everything. He showed you coverage skills. He showed you football smarts. He showed you that he can tackle. He's physical. He can make plays. He can get interceptions. He led the team in picks with 5. He was second in the league. Rookies led the league in picks this year. That's interesting. Woolen and DaRon Bland. Now, did he have some lapses? Sure he did. But I'm going to come back to this for the third time. You're going to get beat at cornerback. But can you make plays? Anthony Brown, no. Kelvin Joseph, no. DaRon Bland, yes. And here's what makes him so fascinating. He showed the most promise in the slot. He played over 400 snaps in the slot in the regular season. And he did some boundary things, but most of it was in the slot. He put some good tape as well in preseason and some decent tape in the season on the boundary. But then when they asked him to switch, hey, we need you to go outside, which I was hoping they would do sooner. He did that. He played 100 snaps in the playoffs in the boundary and only 26 snaps in the slot. So the question now becomes, what will Dan Quinn do with him moving forward? And could that alter their perception going into the draft and free agency? Because if they go to DaRon and say, hey, we want you to be our primary boundary cornerback, there is a legitimate case to say I don't have to take a cornerback in the first or second round of the draft, because that's my guy. And he's a young guy. He's on a rookie deal. There's just no need. But if they say we want to keep him in the slot, I think that absolutely presents the question of, do we take a cornerback in the top 2 rounds? because that is a glaring, blinking light position. Now you can say, well, Scott, we could put Israel out there. You could, but they didn't do that this year. So it would be kind of we hope that works out. We don't really have the film to say that works out because he didn't play out there enough. Or you can go get one of these studs in the draft and put him out there. Now, something that the caller brought up, which again, good segue, was trading Trayvon Diggs. And I'm seeing it happen. I don't even know if I want to use the word shock, Cowboys Nation, but am I shocked a little bit to see the turning on Trayvon Diggs? I am a little bit, just a little bit. It is Cowboy fans though. They flow with the wind. They flow with the wind. Diggs had a bad drop and didn't tackle Kittle, and people hate him. So they want to move on from him. They want to trade him. Trayvon Diggs is one of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League. Y'all know how I feel about him. I would 100% love to keep Trayvon Diggs. Extend him now. He won't hurt your cap for a couple seasons, and let's rock. However, a lot of people want to trade Trayvon Diggs. They don't give a damn if he shut down some of the best wide receivers of the last 2 seasons. They don't care. They want to trade him. So I'll present the question to the chat here, man. Maybe it's a loud minority, but I'm interested. Maybe I should put a poll. Let me put a poll up in here. Is it even poll worthy? I'm just curious if the Bomb Squad feels a certain way like some of the loud minority does. So I'm just going to put a poll up. Should the Cowboys trade Diggs? Simple answer, yes or no. So the poll was up. I'll come back and look at it. So his reasoning was you can get a couple first round picks, maybe possible, and maybe that makes people think twice. But here's why I don't think this is a former cornerback situation in Byron Jones. Byron Jones, who I actually liked, wasn't a guy that was considered a playmaker. Trayvon Diggs is. 17 interceptions in 3 seasons, and he's still young. He's 24, 25 years old. He's only 4 or 5 years into the position alone. I don't even think we've seen the best Trayvon Diggs. Oh, by the way, anybody heard about that yards given up stat?
What?
Just seemed to go away this year when Trayvon Diggs ain't number 1 in the league and giving up yards. No one really knows who gave up the most yards off the top of their heads. I would not trade Trayvon Diggs. However, if the Cowboys are not going to sign him, if they're not going to extend him, as much as I hate to say this, that would probably be the best option. Because you don't want to get stuck in the Byron Jones situation again. When the Cowboys elected not to extend Byron Jones, all they did was allow him to walk away. Yeah, you did get your comp pick, but you probably could have got more than a comp pick. You probably could have got a first or second round pick or both or what have you for him at that time where his stock was high. So as much as it pains me to say this, if they're not going to re-sign him, then they definitely should look to trade him. But here's the problem, Cowboys Nation. That has to happen now. That has to happen before the season. I don't think you can go into the regular season knowing that we're not re-signing you, Trayvon Diggs, but we're going to ride out the 2023 season with you at cornerback. The only way you do that is if you're going all in. If you take the same approach you took last year, where you're going to bring in the 2023 version of Dante Fowler, Ryan Nall, and James Washington, you're not going to make a real attempt to go for the gusto, then what is the point? What is the point? Get you some picks and continue to ride this middle that you love to do. Just continue to stay in the middle where you love to be. It's another question needs to be answered. What are the Cowboys going to do with Diggs? It's an easy one to me, but maybe not for everyone else. What is the chat saying right now? 93% no. I feel you. 93% no on trading Diggs. Let's get to the phones. 205, what it do?
What's happening with you, Scott?
Landlord from Wakanda, a.k.a. Alabama. What up?
What's happening, man? Hey, man, it's sad to say that we even got to talk about trading your top 5 corners, man. I don't see where that comes from. Like, even if you low on Trey, he's still top 5 in my opinion. And I'm being nice. Like, I'm higher on Trey than a lot of people. Like, I won't take many corners over Trey. Real talk. Ramsey, maybe, and who else? I don't know.
He top 5, whatever you want. He's an elite corner to me. I mean, I don't even like to use the term that E word too much, but Diggs is one of them guys.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and okay, you trade him. Now where you at? What you gonna do from there? Now you need 2 corners. Like, you need 2 corners.
You gotta have a solid plan, man.
You know, like, it makes no sense to even start going down that rabbit hole like that. Like, you trying to get better, not just do something different. That's when it comes like you just out here doing stuff. You better have a mastermind plan.
Yeah.
If you trade Trayvon Diggs, you better go get DK Metcalf and go get Marcus Peters or somebody to you know what I'm saying, lighten that load when you get rid of Trey. If you do that, you better load us up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only way.
I feel it both ways, landlord. I feel it both ways. If you have no intentions on bringing him back and you don't want to trade him, load the hell up for 2023. Load up. Get this last year with your top corner on one side, sign whoever you want on the other side, or draft whoever you want on the other side, and load this team up to go for the gusto in 2023. And if you're not going to do that, then, get as many picks as you can and still load up at the cornerback position with the, like you said, the Marcus Peters of the world, whoever you need to. Throw all the resources as possible, but don't just sit on your hands with this situation.
Yeah, I understand what y'all saying, too. Like, if the Cowboys just going to twiddle their thumbs and not sign them, then I understand that. If they got it made up in their mind, like, we are not signing Trayvon Diggs, which, by the way, would be very, very foolish, would be some buffoonery. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. But if that's what you make your mind up for, then okay, fine, so be it. We got to get something from them. Know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with it. But I think you'll be a crazy fool if you get rid of Trayvon Diggs. And I think another team will be happy to pay him whatever he wants. Like, you'll be a crazy fool.
In a league where teams it's so much harder to defend the pass, you want to get rid of one of the guys that do it the best and one of the guys that takes the ball away better than just about any corner in the league. That's a tough one for me, man. You're going to have to really.
Them aggressive teams will pick Trey right up. Somebody like Kansas City or somebody, he'll be a Chief like the next day.
You want to know how valuable he was? Go watch what what teams did this season to AB, what they did to Kelvin, what they did to Rhodes, what they did to Wright, what they did. You name it. You name whoever the hell was on the other side. They said, dog, why would we even go there? For what? Well, where my button at? Trayvon did throw the Trey side.
For what?
For what?
We ain't throwing the Trey way. We are not 6'9".
Exactly. We not 6'9", bro.
We ain't throwing the Trey way, bro. We're not doing that.
So
most people want to choose the path of least resistance. You know what I'm saying? So it was always whoever cornerback 2 was. That was your number one option. Yeah. And, like, that's why it's so attractive to get a better cornerback 2, so you can make that choice a little harder. You know what I'm saying? So they won't they barely even look Trey way. They just like, okay, where Anthony Brown is? Well, who in the slot? They just throwing it over there every time. But I got one more point, and it's going to be a little, it might ruffle some feathers. But it's not really my idea, but I'm just talking about, Stevie Jones got us trained to how they want to operate. So I just don't see no way out of this. Okay? I would love to move on from Anthony Brown. But, Sky, you got to convince me that the Cowboys are going to do so. And if they do that, to me, that'll show that they got some good intentions. Like, they really trying to win. But I just don't see Stephen Jones because it makes too much cheap sense. Like, you got a player that's been in your system for all these years. He's at least a good, decent corner, decent depth. You know what I'm saying? And he will be cheap. It's no worry about the unknown. That's right up Stephen Jones' alley, man. I think
you're right.
Anthony Jones will be a Cowboy, man.
You're
like,
right.
y'all got to convince me that that's not going to happen.
You're right.
Like,
it is no worry about the unknown because you know Anthony Brown going to get beat like a drum majority of the time. So you're right. There's no unknown. You absolutely know exactly what you're getting from Anthony Brown, which is why I would move on.
Yeah.
Here's the out for the Joneses. His contract's up. That's the out. Right? Like, they don't have to make a difficult decision. They don't have to say, man, we got to cut him with 2 years left on his deal with that money. He's a free agent. They can say, hey, man, go talk to other teams, and we're going to circle the block back if we don't find somebody out there, and then we'll come back to Anthony Brown. If the example is, hey, the Cowboys went out, they tried to go get XYZ player, didn't work out, and they circle back to AB, you won't find me being upset with that. Because that means they at least try to go get better at the position. But if their solution is we sign an AB prior to free agency, what are we doing?
I just think the best plan for free agency is to, somebody needs to bump Stephen Jones inside the closet or something and lock it, and then just let us go do some real aggressive moves in free agency because he ain't gonna allow it, Scott. Like, I know when I said bring back the old Jerry, you was like, no, we don't need the old Jerry. But look, though, I think that's the only way we could get somebody out here, though. Like, it's us having a real GM is just not going to happen, Scott. So we just got to ask Jerry to do it. Somebody got to do it.
Jerry's not worried about football things, bro. Listen, I don't got no inside information. I'm just guessing. But Jerry is worried about booking the Jonas Brothers and Lindsay Lohan to perform at Thanksgiving. And Jerry's worried about booking the next big fight and getting blockchain.com and that's what Jerry's worried about.
Jerry getting this money.
Yeah, he's not worried about these football things. Jerry, look up.
Yeah.
12-5. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Keep doing what you're doing.
Raise the tickets.
Steve. Yeah.
Make the tickets more.
Yeah.
But good call, man. I'm glad I got to talk to you, though, man. I ain't want to take up too much of your time.
Nah, man. Appreciate you calling in, bro. We got to get a landlord segment one of these times, bro. Appreciate you, bro.
Oh, yeah. Let me know. Holla at me. Cowboy Nation, let's get it.
Good stuff, as always, from Landlord from Alabama. Got to lock these up. We'll get to some more here. Yeah, man. But we gonna have some fun though, Landlord, with the free agent primer. I'm gonna include a Wildcat and Jerry portion of our primer. The Catboy criteria will stay. We'll add a Wildcat and Jerry to add some fun to it. To appease, like you said, you want the old Jerry. Well, we'll get a little bit of old Jerry type of moves, and don't think those will happen anymore. But it's fun to dream. That's all we got. Landlord from Albany. All right, let's. I'm gonna try to get through them all. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's keep these fair. Let me just say that. Y'all know me. I try to have conversation with y'all as much as possible, but let's keep them fair for the other callers, and we'll wrap up the show. Magic City Marv, what's good, Magic City Marv?
Oh, what's up, bro? I'm just checking out y'all's show.
Appreciate you.
Hey, I'm thinking they need to make one deal. You know me, I want the D tackle.
Yeah.
D tackle will make the linebackers good, will make the defensive ends good, and make the corners good. Get that one D tackle pain, then y'all can start celebrating. But I know, like when y'all be doing y'all camps, don't be thinking Philadelphia ain't listening. I think Philly going to draft that Penn State quarterback because 24 ain't going to be there. He was just signed for 1 year for Philadelphia. That's why I think Philadelphia. You know the Penn State corner?
Yeah. They sitting in a beautiful position at 10. Like they probably have the least amount of pressure of all the top 10 teams to hit that pick because they can just literally take the best guy at any of those positions and that they want, not even just need, that they want, and they walk out of there the winner of the top 10, probably.
No, because they be listening. Don't think they don't be listening. They're like, oh, yeah, that Penn State corner. He's right in our city. That's what I think they're going to trap because 24 ain't going to be there next year. Too much money. They ain't going to pay him no more.
They ain't going to pay him because some would say cost them the Super Bowl. So
I know. But his other two corners, the South Carolina corner, and you got 31 from Illinois. That's a hitter, and he could cover too.
I like the Witherspoon kid
24,
too.
Huh?
The Witherspoon kid.
Yeah. So it's some corners. There's 1,000 receivers.
Damn.
There's 1,000 halfbacks. The Texas A&M halfbacks. Woo! Man. The TCU halfback.
Oh man, this running back draft class is listen, bro. I'm not drafting no running back in the first round. It's entirely too deep. No sir.
Thank you. You do not need it. So who will you pick? The offensive tackle from Florida or the corner?
You talking about that guard, Osiris?
Yeah.
Well, Marv asked me this question after March, the first 2 weeks of March, right? You know what sucks? You know, like I always hold out hope that they'll do something in free agency that'll alter my opinion in the draft, and it almost never happens. But I still have to keep that there. Like the Cowboys might sign somebody that makes me say, oh well, they don't got to take this position early. So yeah, I'm gonna say this: corner, offensive line, wide receiver, linebacker. I wouldn't be mad at any of those right now. So I think they're all positions that you take in the first 2 days of the draft, just a matter of where.
Yeah. And then one of my friends, he's from Baltimore. I'm going to tell y'all Cowboy fans, y'all better go look at the film. You better stop saying Marcus Peters. Baltimore fans hate Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters cost them a lot of games, cannot cover. He's horrible.
Yeah, you want to talk about a high variance player. People were comparing Diggs to him. He's definitely a guy that he's a hit or miss type situation with Marcus Peters.
Diggs is better than him. So Marcus Peters. Then I just want you make good sense with the receivers. I'm gonna tell y'all something. With the new scheme we got, our receivers gonna be cold blood. Now we can draft a receiver.
I want to get.
It's a lot of receivers.
Yeah, I want to get one of them. I want to get one of them ones too, though. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I want to get one of them. And I understand there's no Jamar Chase in this draft, but if you're going to go to this type of scheme, I do feel like you can get a traitsy guy that will fit opposite of CD Lamb. But my worry is Jerry and them going to be like, nah, Michael Gallup is fine.
Now they gonna drop the receiver. Trust me.
Okay.
I'm telling you, listen. I think y'all did y'all job. They be listening to y'all. Bro. Y'all have done y'all job. Cause look, they got rid of the last cancer, Kellen Moore.
Kellen, yeah.
Yeah, cause your boy McCormick said, man, if I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna lose my way.
Indeed,
because he put his foot in his mouth. Cause he said, I love McCormick, and McCormick said, okay, that's my key. He got him in that meeting. So you love me, right? So I'm gonna do it my way now, brother. Your way, we've been losing 2 years in a row. We had the number one receiver. Well, you got rid of my boy, the route runner, because y'all got in y'all feelings. Kellen Moore got him fired. So I got to get rid of Kellen Moore and watch what happens.
Indeed, Marv. Hey, appreciate you calling as always, brother.
Thank you, brother. Good show.
Thank you, sir. Salute. Magic City Marv. Lemitra said he calling from the script club. Let's get to a couple super chats real quick. I'm trying to mix these in. Okay. All right, here we go. Because DJ, I think you on the horn too, so I'm going to get to you. I kind of want to end with DJ.
Super chat.
DJ's World said, look, it's crazy and no, they shouldn't do it. But for the sake of argument, what would be the compensation for Diggs? Could 2 firsts be an option? I would have to say it has to be, right? Because of the Jalen Ramsey situation. Excuse me. Like 2 firsts has to be on the board. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying. I think it was on Vacha's show, but we did an entire show dedicated on it here last year. The Cowboys just are not good in that arena. And they haven't been good since the Herschel Walker trade in that arena. Now, Diggs could fetch you. He should fetch you a Ramsey-like deal. But damn it, I thought Amari Cooper could fetch you more than a 5th-round pick. And we laid out why, historically speaking, it should have. But the Cowboys don't get back anything great in return. Now, they don't send out a lot of great players, and that could be another reason why. But I think they're scared to do these type of deals. And then when they do, Amari Cooper, they get fleeced. So, yeah, 2-1 should be an option. Will it be? I don't know. Stephen Jones sucks at this. Hey, Ron.
Super chat.
Drop one and said, we get in 2025. There you go. Perfect 2 super chats. He said, we get a 2025 8th rounder for Diggs. That's how Steven operates.
Super chat.
Andre Drop One said, if they're uncertain, sign Diggs to a 4-year deal and draft a cornerback in the first 3 rounds. If they're uncertain, sign him to a 4-year deal and draft a cornerback in the first. Shit, they might do that if they're certain. That still might not be a bad idea. Might not be a bad idea. All right, 559-860. Then I want to wrap it up with DJ. 559, what it do?
Hey, how's it going, man?
All right.
Hey, Sky, I was wondering, I know everyone's seen this year or last year. Why don't they ever use the 12 personnel, man? The big tight ends, I think if they would have used that in the playoffs, I think we would have beat these teams single-handedly, man. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think maybe more 12 could have helped. I didn't necessarily like the spread it out, run straight up the field, turn around, or everything is stemmed off of a vertical route. It was just lazy against a quality defense and a quality coordinator, and then it compounded with the quarterback just not on top of his game, right? So, getting back into the 12 personnel, doing some play action, continuing to run with a guy that got some spring to him, Davis, and just kind of getting your offense back in the rhythm, I thought would have been a good way to combat a difficult defense at the time. But, scheme mattered, I think, more against that team, and we just didn't do it. Maybe go look at the Eagles. I know the Eagles played against 5th-string quarterbacks against that same team, but we forget the defense actually was out there, healthy, fine. And they just flat out schemed D'Amico Ryans in that game. And, I think the 12 could have helped. And not just basic 12, right, where they're in line. They could attach them. They can unbalance it. They can do a bunch of different things. But Jake Ferguson was criminally underutilized, criminally.
Right.
And I hope that's not the case next year. I hope he's a focus of this offense because I think he has possibility to be a baby Kelsey.
Yeah, and I think that Hendershot guy is pretty good too, man. I think we need to use him more. When we were using him, like fake to Pollard or Zeke and let him run into the end zone on the
he was
red zone.
He got hurt though. He wasn't available for that game, unfortunately. But next year, I think him and Ferguson could be fantastic X factors against teams because for years, man, we never utilized, and this could be a whole different show. The tight end position has morphed into the ultimate chess piece on offense, and we just never have used it in that way. I say since about 2015-16, where we just saw the decline of Jason Witten. We never used the tight end as that ultimate X factor. We've used the tight end like we used the tight end in the 90s.
All right. Thanks, Guy.
Hey, man, thanks for the call. Man, you just got me fired up. I think the next hindsight series, I think we might do tight ends. You got me fired up. Thanks for the call, man. And I'm at to do some callbacks on Ferguson. So 860. What it do?
Skywalker City, what's up, baby?
What's good, man?
First of all, I want to say love your show as always. But I want to get into the cornerback situation. If we're not trading Diggs for 2 first rounders, don't talk to us. honestly, because he's an elite corner. I don't want to hear that. Get him out of here. Scratch all that. He's an elite corner. Shut down Chase. Shut down Jefferson. A lot of corners not doing that. That's one.
Yeah, you're taking a big risk, bro. You're taking a big risk of moving on from him and hoping that your guys can follow suit and shut down those type of dudes.
Yeah, super, super big risk. Next, and I kind of agree with what Landlord was saying, where I could see Stephen Jones keeping Anthony Brown because he's cheap and he hurt and he's decent. But to combat that, I would say, in my personal opinion, go get Marcus Peters. Well, OG was saying don't go get him. I say go get Marcus Peters because Marcus Peters is better than Anthony Brown. Am I wrong?
I'm going to be real with you. I would have to go look at film from Peters over the last season or two. But I don't think you probably not though. Like honestly, Peters is probably better than Anthony Brown still.
Exactly. My point exactly. Now my last thing is I say draft wise, either O lineman or receiver with the first pick. My first pick, I really want Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's really like that.
Man, bro, I like that boy really right there.
He would compliment CD so well. So well, it's not even funny.
Bro, I was digging into some Jackson Smith and Jigba film, and y'all know me, I don't like to fall in love with any of these players no more. But I was just envisioning him in the West Coast offense, Oppo CD,
I swear.
And I was like, man, this dude could be a big time playmaker for this team. But I ain't getting my hopes up. I don't think he'll be there.
You don't think he'll be there?
Nah, I don't think he'd be there, man.
I think he might.
Maybe if Jalen Hyatt, runs that 4-2, 4-3 to push him way up the board, the Addison kid will probably go first or something. The TCU kid, it's possible. It's possible. It depends when the run happens. It depends when that run happens.
All right. Appreciate you, Scott. Love the show.
Thanks, man. Yeah, JSN. I like him. I like him a lot, man. I do. Toxic said my first love was Eve. Y'all crazy. I don't know what the Hyatt kid is going to run, but my guess would be in the low 4.3s. And I said this to Vaj, once you get to the combine and they start getting in the underwear Olympics, these dudes skyrocket. Depending what he runs. Now, if he tests well, he damn sure ain't going to be there at 26. If he's in that 4.5 range, his agility is top 7, not top 3. He might fall. Herndon Hyatt connection. So you're saying, okay, draft Hyatt and then get Herndon what day? What do we think he going about? 4th round ish? I'm all about getting a developmental quarterback, by the way. I don't want y'all to think I'm out on that. I would like to get a developmental quarterback because what if they don't decide to stay with bro? I would like to have a guy that's already around and that is being developed behind him. Hyatt, he's not my top choice. Damn sure not going to be mad if they took him, but he's not my top choice. All right, last one. Let's get to DJ. DJ. What's good, bro?
What's good, Scott? I will not stand for you not saying that Hyatt is the best option, brother. I won't stand for it.
Okay. You like that speed. I ain't mad at you, brother. I've been asking for that type of speed on offense forever, and you would not find me complaining at all if they drafted Hyatt.
This is my only thing about Hyatt, and then we'll get to it. Hyatt is the only one to dominate multiple games by himself. Everybody else was a part of the offense. Hyatt took over multiple games. With Alabama and Nick Saban's defense is one of those games. That's my only thing. And if you can do that to them, then coming in and having options, I feel like Njigba's a better fit, right? I'm not saying Hyatt's the best option for Dallas, but just as far as that highest ceiling guy, it's definitely
even if he's Deshaun Jackson and he's not a Tyreek Hill type, even if he's Will Fuller, in this offense that would be much more.
Don't put that juju on him. Then Deshaun Jackson, I feel you. Not Will Fuller. Don't put that juju on him.
Well, without injuries, let's knock on wood. Will Fuller, no injuries, right?
D-Jack, I love the comparison because D-Jack is one of the greatest deep ball receivers of all time. It's not even a joke. Like, he is. So, and I often compare some of these receivers that have fantastic ball tracking ability to D-Jack because you might think a 5'10", 180-pound receiver can't track the ball like that. No, he's one of the best ball trackers I've ever seen. So, I said that about
he's got the most natural hands. He's got the most natural hands and all of that in the class, in my opinion. He's the most natural ball catcher. There's a lot of body catchers this year. He catches the ball with his hands out from his body, and that's something that will matter, especially when that coverage gets tighter in the NFL. But anyway, let's get back on track here.
I was just about to say, look, DJ, he's a speed guy. I like speed. If you take him, find a way to use him, I ain't going to be mad at you. But that JSN is the guy I would love to have. I think he's a fantastic fit. But go on.
I think he's the best fit. Okay, so with the whole Diggs thing, I'm gonna play devil's advocate for a second. I think it's crazy, but let's just for content.
Let's play along with the trade. Yeah.
So if you do, because I'm sure people thought that Kansas City was crazy for trading Tyreek Hill, or when the Carson Wentz trade looks crazy at the time, even though we had our opinion on it, we didn't know what the Eagles were going to do. And if you can get a haul like that and flip it and turn it into something.
I didn't think trading Wentz was crazy.
No, I didn't either. They had Hurts, and we didn't have any belief in Hurts at the time. And okay, so you're going to get rid of this guy that was an MVP candidate and go with Hurts. All right, do you. I'm not mad. That's your team. But, they still got a haul for it, right? Which, quarterback and cornerback are two completely different situations.
Well, why not use the Jalen Ramsey? Why not use that?
Jalen Ramsey, same thing. Yeah, that was my next one. If you can get something of that nature and flip it into, given this team having more picks has never been a bad idea to me, right? So if you can get multiple first, a couple, a third or a fifth round, a third and a fifth or something like that, then hey, do you? Problem is they don't have the balls to pull that off. They will never do that. And even if they did, because the reason they traded Amari Cooper is because they were mad at him. They're not mad at Diggs.
Right.
Play be aside, they don't even really care about play. It's the off the field stuff and your politics that gets Jerry and Steven pissed off at you. Diggs is nowhere in that. So it's not realistic. But if you're going to do it, that's the only way that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. If you're going to trade him, it has to be for that haul. But like you said, they don't do that. They haven't done that. And even when it comes to the haul that they get, I don't even think I would want to use it all on draft picks. I would take those picks and go get a actual proven player. But again, that takes a different type of front office. And again, I'm gonna circle it all the way back, DJ. If the Cowboys are going to elect to do something completely different and out of the realm that they've ever done, or not ever, but that they've done over the last couple decades, then I would much rather it be just go all in. Not, hey, I'm going to cut this quarterback, trade this corner, get these picks, and trade this person, not sign that person. Why do the extreme to get worse? Do the extreme to get better.
And that's the thing. It's they've always just done these mediocre things, right? And stuff that we were, they only do big money brand signings. People that have been here that they drafted that they're like, oh, that's a dude, Zeke, Jalen Smith. They didn't even want to sign Dak at first. I don't understand why, but they did it.
They signed a dude with one knee. That was so comical before they signed Dak.
And it's funny that you mentioned the front office because I think, and this is just a nightmare scenario, so I don't want to end your day on a bad note and ruin your mood. But as aggressive as Michael Parsons wants this front office to be, and as vocal as he's been about going out and getting guys constantly, at least since his sophomore season started. I think there's a chance he pulls a LeBron and takes his talents elsewhere because they're not willing to be as aggressive and what he feels is the best situation for him. I can see a world where he walks.
Look.
At the end of his rookie contract.
Listen, that is fair. That is fair. I mean, he'll have 5 years with the Cowboys if he doesn't sign an extension. Now, again, money talks. You know, if they come to Micah, they don't have to come to Micah until after year 5. So, you know, a lot of people. It's so funny when people were talking about, we got to sign Micah Parsons. Relax. You got 3-4 more seasons till you got to worry about that. So they can legitimately play this all the way out to sign Micah. But if they come to him next year, you know, another failed year, another year where they don't make a lot of moves, it's just kind of 11-6, 12-5, losing, and Mike's like, man, I'm tired of this, and he says, nah, I'm good, I'll wait. That'll be telling. But again, we're talking about the extreme negative here. But hey, I mean, somebody eventually gonna get tired of things in Dallas, of the way they're constructed. But the other thing is they do take care of those type players, though. They do throw them the bag. It's a great facility. It's a great city, taxes and all that stuff. So and Micah is one of their own. He's a generational guy. Hard for me to see them just letting him walk out without putting up a massive fight. So that'll be crazy.
The only thing that brought up that idea for me is that I saw something again on Twitter about, you know, Micah talking about another player. I think it was Deron Payne in this case.
Good.
And I was like, man, he is so vocal. And Micah's the type of person that, like, we'll know way before it happens, right? But, like, Mike will be like, no, I'm pissed off. They won't do anything. They don't do shit in the offseason. And we got to get more talent. And none of the moves they make sense, right?
Because
we would know that.
You see,
before.
CD Lamb, Michael Parsons, these guys are the young Gen Z types where they're seeing their friends that they went to these camps with, maybe played with or against in college, that you see them pairing up, teaming up, going. And I'm not saying this, trying to compare it to the NBA, but you see these guys going to these teams, and I don't want to call it all in or dream teams or whatever, but he wants to be a part of that. They want, not just he, Lamb, because Lamb is speaking up now too, y'all. Like CD Lamb has come out. And I don't think he was particularly happy that they let go of Amari Cooper. Micah tried to stay out of it. He said, I don't know. I still don't know why they let go of Amari Cooper, but he wasn't happy with it. But these young guys want to be a part of these organizations and these teams that are putting together this collection of talent. They're never going to throw their guys under the bus, but I'm all for Lamb and Micah speaking up, because it's probably going to have to start with the players putting the pressure on the front office, or the coaches, and the coaches putting the pressure on the front office. But at the end of the day, will it fall on deaf ears to one Stephen Jones?
I mean, that's the big thing, because I mean, I think the loudest group that could talk is the players, right? Because Cowboys, since Jerry's taken over, has always been a player's brand.
Right.
And I think at this point, like the stuff Jerry even wants to do might fall on deaf ears from time to time, and he's not even getting all the stuff that he wants to do, because Steven's like, oh, well, you know, I have all these other situations to fall back on with the Johnny Manziel and how that worked and other situations, blah, 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 to where even if Jerry wanted to do something now, I don't think he just has the culpability and the power just to make that decision on his own.
You're right. Steven loves to do a callback. I don't know any other general manager, and that's what I'm calling him, that does these callbacks from a decade ago. Y'all remember that time we signed Brandon Carr in 2010? Man, shut up.
That's the last move that you made. That nigga in the Cooper trade. The Cooper trade was what, 5-6 years ago now?
5 years ago.
Those are the last two, so half a decade and a decade. And you did nothing in between except draft players and sign a bunch of Moneyball players. Like, just can we get – I'm not asking to go to 10, but we've been on 2 for like 15 years. Can we go up to like a 7?
Yeah.
Please?
I'll take some baby steps, bro. I'll take a little baby step. Hey, DJ, fantastic call. Pretty sure we might hear from you later on the Vacha show, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Take it easy. Good stuff.
Later.
Really, really good stuff today. Appreciate y'all. Again, I say this all the time. This point of time in this off season, the season, whatever you call it, is the diehards. And the fact that y'all come back here every single day and bring the quality takes. And even if we disagree, just the fact we having these conversations, I think is pretty cool. Not everybody is as invested in the off season as y'all are. So appreciate y'all for being here. I believe we got all the super chats done throughout the show. Let me just refresh. And as I say that, a couple more did come through. So let me get to Coach Marv's
super chat.
Shout out to Coach. He said the Cowboys trusted Jimmy drafting greatness to use the Walker trade to build a super team. What will McClay, I'd imagine you mean, do if he had the same situation with great draft picks? I would love for them to just hear McClay. General manager, I'm stepping back. Now allow Will McClay to make his mistakes and learn from his mistakes. Maybe he won't make a bunch because he's already shown that I can work with this hand above me or on my neck. What if you take the hand away and just say, do your thing? Do your thing. I would love for them to just let Will McClay do his thing.
Super chat.
Tiana said, appreciate you for the donation. I'm so jaded by the front office that CD and Micah could walk out the door and Jerry and Steven would hit the Kanye shrug, then shuck and jive in our faces again. So I'm jaded the other way. Actually, don't worry about Micah and CD Lamb leaving. Because those type of guys, they don't allow to leave. They sign their own guys back for the most part. Right? Especially those type. I'd be shocked if they just let Micah Parsons walk. They would throw the biggest bag in the history of the NFL at Micah Parsons. My man ain't turning that down. You know? My man's not turning that down. So I actually feel fine that they'll bring him back. I feel fine that they'll sign Lamb because Lamb is proven to them. He's a guy that's available. He's taking the next step. He's continuing to get better, and I think he's going to take another step this season. I think they'd get rid of Gallup before they would let Lamb walk. Poll results. A hilarious 91% are against trading Trayvon Diggs. Because duh. At 9% though are interested in trading Diggs. It's a conversation we'll continue to have until they eventually do re-sign him, and it is time because Diggs is going into his fourth season. He was a second-round pick, not a first-round pick, so there is no fifth-year option. So that's something we'll keep our eye on, Cowboys Nation. Good stuff today. Great stuff, honestly. Appreciate you guys for joining me this morning. Make sure y'all go support the rest of the nation. I think you'll get Landlord on a little bit. You'll get Law on a little bit. Then later on, we'll be live on the volume with Vosh Lombardi live. And then Mo will be back on later tonight. A to Z Sports, prime time. Press this button. Great stuff today. Might try to get Foots on tomorrow to talk some draft. If not, I am fired up to talk about those tight ends, man. That got me excited. That call really got me excited because I think we on to something there. Appreciate your Mod Squad. Appreciate your Bomb Squad. We out. Peace.